Good afternoon, everyone. I'd like to call to order the meeting of the Facilities, Construction, and Master Planning Committee.
Oh, wait. Yes,
Oh, yeah, you sent it to me, yeah.
We ready? I'd like to call to order the Facilities, Construction, and Master Planning Committee meeting for the University of Houston System Board of Regents. First item requiring committee approval today is the minutes from the Facilities, Construction, and Master Planning Committee meeting held on August 20th, 2015. Are there any corrections to the minutes? If not, do I hear a motion to approve these minutes as distributed, please?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Second, all in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. We have three action items listed on your agenda today for the committee's consideration and approval. After the discussion of these agenda items has concluded, I will call for the vote, and once all of the items have been considered and approved by the committee, if appropriate, I will ask for a motion to place these items on the board's consent docket agenda for final board approval at the Board of Regents meeting scheduled for later today. The first item listed on your agenda for consideration is item C. The approval is requested to update the University of Houston Sugarland Master Plan, including the academic building project site. Mr. Jim McShann, Interim Vice Chancellor for Administration and Finance, will you please introduce this item?
Yes, sir, thank you. We're presenting the master plan for Sugarland for your approval, as well as the particular site location for the new building. The new building will be is planned to be a 150,000 square foot building. It will be a Class A, 50-year minimum life building, and the intention is with the visibility it will receive will be a good landmark for the university and make our presence very well known in the Sugarland area. Dean Oliver will give you a brief presentation on the proposed master plan.
The slide, is this one? Can you hear me? The slide that is up is the existing conditions. So you see the three buildings that represent Sugarland at the moment. Brazos Hall is 2/3 occupied by Wharton College. The City Festival site has been under negotiation over the last year, and they are now confined to the area that's indicated on the drawing. Next slide. The things that are coming up immediately for discussion with Sugarland are the improvements to the site so that future work and future buildings that are slated for construction can, in fact, proceed. The first thing they're doing is the curb cut that you see to the upper part of the slide. The red area are the drainage areas that crisscross the site significantly. In particular, ditch A, which is the one called out by the red to the top going vertically. That one is 150 feet wide. It is fairly shallow, and we are proposing and asking the city assist us in closing that ditch and introducing culverts to take up the runoff. It would require 2 culverts 15 feet wide, so 30 feet, and about 4 or 5 feet below surface. They are also planning for an easement that would occur somewhere near the festival site for access. That is just on the drawings. It's just not clear what will happen to that as their development of parking and so on moves forward. There is a current drainage area right in the sort of kidney-shaped thing that's in the middle of the drawing that is insignificant and can go away once construction begins. Next slide. The intent with the master plan is to achieve the first phase, which would be 8,000 students in this location. We anticipate that would take an additional 2 buildings. The first building, which is slated for construction is the one to the top of the slide. It is basically 150,000 square feet. It's placed in that location so that it has premium accessibility and visibility from the freeway, so that UH presence is clearly felt. The second building would return down to the cluster of buildings that already exist. We can go to the last slide. This is a shot of the full build-out of the campus, 100-year plan, if you want to call it that. At that point, we're anticipating that Wharton College could find an additional location down to the south and to the right on the slide, and that the park and ride, which is a potential revenue source, have that moved to another location, and U of H could then realize the value of the parking that they're not taking advantage of right now. And that's really all there is, right?
So the building number 2,
Yes.
the money we have allocated from the funds we have allocated to expand the campus, that's not enough to do building 1 and 2, right?
No, just one.
And so today, are you asking for us to approve the location of building 1 or a building 1 and 2?
The goal for phase 1 is 8,000 bodies. That would take a second building construction. So the plan is, after that first building is under construction, there would be some seeking of funds, whatever the source would be, for the second building to reach that 8,000 goal.
But as far as asking this committee to modify the master plan, are we speaking to 1 and 2 or just 1?
Just the first building, yes.
Right, so this is where we think we'd put a second building, but you're not asking for our
Exactly.
approval for that?
Yeah, and there's a miswording. This is actually the first master plan that's ever been drafted for Sugarland, so we're not actually updating or modifying. So we're asking you to approve that and the first building, and we're just giving you the vision of what it could be in the future.
Right, so just to remind the committee, we're approving the master plan here. We're not approving the building itself, and we're not approving funds, to build a building. We're just approving the location of a building if funds are available, but we'll get another look at a building at a later date once it's been designed.
Have you
and-
been out there? Have you looked at this master plan?
Yes, I think the master plan is good. I think the closing of the proposed closing of the ditch, hopefully we can seek other government funds to do that because that's going to be expensive to do, and hopefully there's other.
Yeah, it looks like it'll be about $3.5 million, and it also appears that a tiers proposal would be possible.
Right. Yeah, so if the TERS will do it, that's great, and maybe we can provide some design funds or something like that. That usually helps. So you might look into us designing that, engineering that, those box culverts, and then handing it over to the TERS with their agreement to fund it.
What's
if that's
TERS?
a tax increment reinvestment zone. And I don't know if there's one there or not, to be honest with
Yes,
you.
there is.
There is, yeah. So, we'd be happy to talk to them to see if we can make that, work that out. But I know, my experience is if you hand it to them ready to go, that usually puts you at the head of the line versus others. My only, you use the word premium visibility, and my only personal comment is that if we're going to position a building up there, if we don't have enough money to make it a entryway showcase representing the best of UH, campus in Sugarland, if we don't have the money to build it, then I think we would want to revisit the location of a building if it turns out we don't have the funds to really make it a first class, that's going to be our face. Whatever people, if you look at it, it's right on the freeway. Anybody passing by, that's what they're going to think of UH Sugarland. And so this is our opportunity, if we build a, simple building, then I think it'd be a mistake
Yeah.
to put it
No,
up there.
Again, it's scheduled to be 150,000 square feet. We have $54 million available to build this building, which is about $360 a square foot, which David here assures me is adequate, and it will be an outstanding building.
Good.
And just to further your point, if we're approved here, then during the Finance Administration Committee, we'll be requesting approval for the funding of the building. and we would start design in May. Construction would start in March of 2017, and occupancy we expected in August of 2018.
Great. Any other questions? If not, I guess I'll entertain a motion to approve the master plan for Sugarland. We can always change it at a future date, but I think for now, the staff and I think hadn't our architecture school
Yes.
assisted in this, so thank you. Thanks for all the help. We appreciate it. And working with the city is important, and I want to make sure that we always, we figure out what we want to do on our land, for our future growth first and foremost. And then if we can accommodate others, that fit into ours, then that's great. So entertain a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Chairman.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. The next two action items listed on your agenda pertain to the System-Wide Art Acquisition Committee. Item D, the approval is requested for revisions to their procedurals manual, and item E is related to the appointment of committee members and their appointed terms. Mr. McShann, will you please introduce these items?
Yes, sir, thank you. I'd like to take one moment to introduce David Oliver. He's our new Associate Vice President, Associate Vice Chancellor for our Facilities Planning and Construction. I think many of you may have had the chance to meet him. He's been here since November? September, okay. Time flies. But anyway, he's doing an outstanding job, and I hope you feel free to talk to him, and he's always listening and trying to get things in pretty good shape, and he's doing a great job in preparation for the debate and just the overall appearance of the campus at the moment. So thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to personally, and on behalf of the board, thank David Oliver for the improvement in the landscape around campus since he started his tenure here. It's noticeable, and I know you've got a lot of work to do, but it looks so much better than when than your first day on the job.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
Thank you. Okay, on to the first item related to the SWAC committee. This is asking to modify the SAC procedures. Basically, right now, there's 1% of each new building or a 0.5% of a major reconstruction project that is set aside for artwork. The policy allows for up to 10% of that to be used for the budget and operations of the System-Wide Art Acquisition Committee. We're basically just wanting to change that so that then provide a budget annually for approval, that it might be 15% of that 1%. We're wanting to do more in the area of promotion of the collection. It's one of the greatest in the country, what I understand. So we'd like to be able to put some money into promoting it and be able to do so, but have some flexibility in the budget. So it might be under 10%, 99% of the time, but there may be a situation where we'd like to spend 20 of that 1% for that type of activity.
So he's right. We have, I believe we have the largest, or one of the largest, we have the largest public art collection in a public university in the United States. Is that right? I think. At least in Texas, but outside, but there's really not much outside Texas anyway, so. But to have that collection, it's, we need to promote it, and especially with our discussions of the new College of Arts, on campus, et cetera. This is an asset that we have, that over the years has been built, and fortunate enough to have today. And so the idea is to delegate to the committee, which is a number of not only U of H representatives, but representatives of the arts community in Houston, to decide how to allocate their money between acquisition of new pieces and promotion. And I think we really owe it to our collection to put it, to put it on the map, to create, the website and promote it at the local level, so we get tourists that come to town to, and coordinate with all the other great art collections in the city.
I have a question. Would this wording that you're proposing include the possibility of prepping the surroundings? Because while we're on the landscape architect question. A couple of these pieces that I understand are among our most important and significant are in areas where I personally would think we might want to consider having the architectural landscape group look at whether or not we're presenting it so that it's shown at its best perspective. Because I think we have some wonderful pieces in places that it's very difficult to appreciate.
Yeah, I think we probably have,
Do we have the money? Can we do it within, is this a window?
well, I think we have the authority, Donna, I think we can relocate pieces of art, can we not? I mean, we don't
Well,
have to.
But we'd have to work with, it's a general question. I'm not trying to do one
Yeah.
specific thing. I'm just generally asking if this would give any authority or budget to help with the presentation rather than just the installation.
It says promotion, it may set aside from the percent for art budget sufficient funds for promotion, public programs, and operations and conservation. So I think that's pretty broad. It gives you
Yeah,
a
I
lot of
think-
flexibility.
Whoever it is that's making that budget, if they deem that necessary, they could probably make some adjustments
Yes.
there and be able to do that. I don't think anybody would think that'd be significant.
No, I believe
part of
within the
budget.
operations and promotions, it would encompass anything that had to do with the presentation and its,
Yeah, I mean, we want to
Move
present it.
tree, add a tree,
Right.
yeah.
that kind of stuff.
Right now, we have over 500 pieces of public art. I mean, this could be a destination for people to come for art.
If we can show it well.
And all it is we are trying to put the word public back in public art. Because right now it's art, it's just not public art. If public can see it, can't reach to it, we don't have programming, it's just not public art. So that's what I think I went to plead with the Arts Committee and hoping to convince them that it's about time that you pay attention to who's visiting, how they're visiting. I mean, I would love for people from all over the country, not just from Houston, to think about, coming here with the tour, with the cell phone things, maybe with the art and wine program, you have wine tasting at every, art location. I mean, I can come up with all kinds of exciting ideas myself. I just want it to happen, and I think we have an opportunity, and Arts Committee was very favorable to it. So with this language, I think it's all the presentation of the art and making it accessible, making it enjoyable for the public.
Thank you.
Regent Mendoza?
I was just going to follow up on what Regent Madison said. It's not necessarily moving them, it's just presenting them a lot better or a lot cleanlier. And I haven't been out there since you've been, but I agree with our chairman that you've done a great job so far. But I think it's more in presentation of where it is so that when folks go to see it, it's nice and clean and a good area to visit.
Well, that includes lighting and various other things that might.
Exactly.
Maybe a couple benches.
See, on our committee, we have wine tastings, Regent Armour. On facility, on finance, you don't have any of that kind of stuff, so.
Every meeting.
Next item.
Okay, thank you. The next item is also related to the System-Wide Art Acquisition Committee. It is the appointment of committee members and the terms. These appointments were developed in compliance with the policies of the committee. And to answer your question, it's in this wording here, there's over 400 pieces and one of the finest in the country. The nominee to replace Dr. Floyd Newsom from the University of Houston Downtown is Dr. Susan Baker from the University of Houston Downtown. It has over 25 years of teaching experience in art history. And additionally, they're nominating an alternate representative, Mr. Mark Shavenka, also from the University of Houston Downtown. He has 22 years of gallery, curatorial, and managerial experience. I think they'd both be great additions to our committee, and just seeking your approval.
Great. Those are all our items, right? First whack.
Yes, sir.
Great. Thank you for your presentations. Are there any additional questions for him? If not, may I hear a motion to approve these items as presented?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Motion is carried. I would now like to make a motion to place all three of these items presented to the committee on the board's consent docket agenda for final board approval. Do I hear a motion, please?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? The following three action items unanimously approved by the committee will be placed on the board's consent docket agenda for final board approval at the board meeting held later today, February 18th, 2016, as follows. Approval is requested to update the University of Houston Sugarland Master Plan, including the academic building project site, University of Houston. Approval is requested for revisions to the system-wide Art Acquisition Committee Procedures Manual, UH System. Approval is requested for appointment of committee members and appointment term for the system-wide Art Acquisition Committee, UH System. This concludes the presentations and action items being presented before the committee today. It should be noted that an executive session will not be held today. Therefore, this committee is adjourned.